Hello lovies, Dr. Maria is here. Today we're solving February-March 2025, Paper 2, Variant 2. It's been requested a lot to solve Paper 2 more than Paper 1, and that's exactly what I will be focusing on in the next period. I might not upload a lot of videos, but I am very much present on my social medias and I reply to all the questions that's been sent to me. I'm more active on WhatsApp and Telegram, so if you have any issues or any doubts or any requests, anything at all to say, you can send me there. Also, I have a team working with me. My assistants also reply to any questions or requests you have. So if I'm not active on YouTube, that does not mean I'm not active on my platforms, okay? You can find me there if you need me, especially my WhatsApp group. Everything will be linked in the description. Without further ado, let's see what this question is talking about. It starts off by showing us the location of Mexico and the map, where it's located, and blah blah blah. The next page, this page, it's very, very, very important because we deduce all our information here and all the hints lie here, okay? Especially in the calculations question, because most of the time they don't give you the area and they expect you to find the specific area of that country, okay? So the area of Mexico is written, the population, the life expectancy, the children, the currency, the language. What we want to know the most is this part, the area of Mexico, and the climate, and the main exports of Mexico. These are the three main points that we need to get out of this page, okay? So the exports, they rely on oil, silver, gold, and agricultural products and timber, okay? They reserve of minerals and oil that are extracted and exported, so they use it to gain money, to improve their economy. Some areas have poor soils, limit agricultural yields, okay? That's a disadvantage. We're gonna see what the question wants and how we're gonna use this point to our advantage. And tourism is important for the economy. So two things you can really get from this is that they export and they have tourism. So exportation and tourism are two things they rely on for their economy. Okay. The map shows the location of Negro Sea salt factory on the Baja California Peninsula, Mexico. Okay. Let's understand the map. So I got the map here. I like when I see a compass to just annotate it. So the right side is going to be the east. How and why? Because as you can see, all the, I don't know, but like the tooth or whatever of the letter, it's just pointing towards the right, okay? So just draw your arrows and that's going to help you remember which side. And obviously the other side is going to be west. Okay. A key is given. It shows us the large road, the town, the port, the factory, the lagoon. Okay, the lagoon is this region. And we got the factory, that's F, and P, that's port. And in the middle, we got the town. So this is the town. The town is in between a factory and a port. The sea salt factory is the largest in the world and produces 7 million tons of sea salt every year. The sea salt is extracted from the seawater and the factory is located on the edge of the shallow water that's called lagoon. Now use the map to estimate the area of that lagoon, okay? How are we going to do that? We're going to use the key given, okay? Let's see how we're going to solve this question. Okay. So first thing, you're going to know how much does it give you on your scale. It gives me about 2. So we're going to go with 2. Okay. That's 2 centimeters. And then you're going to find the lagoon. Okay. How are we going to do it? We're going to make it into like a square kind of thing. Okay. Just like this. And you're going to find the area. Oh. What is that? Okay, and then you're going to find the area. Let's say this is like 2.1. And then this part is nearly let's go with 1.7. Okay, centimeters. So you know that 25 kilometers is equal to 2 centimeters. You're going to cross multiply with the other digits or the numbers or the values we found that are 2.1 and 1.7. Okay, to find how much in kilometers. Okay, so you're going to cross multiply these together. Okay, and then you'll be crossing this with this. Okay, cross multiply, and the estimation should be around 400. Okay, that's how you find it. This is a tricky question because a lot of students don't know how to find it, but you're going to find it by like visually making it into a square because nothing else works. Or you can get the largest length you find, like for instance in this part. Okay, make a straight line and then go like this. Okay, so you can find this and find this. This is y, for instance, and this is x. Okay, and find them by cross multiplying to the scale they're giving us. Okay. Ocean tides bring seawater into the lagoon, which give the factory a constant supply of seawater. Now suggest 2 other reasons for the location of the factory. As you can see, the factory is located between the town, and I mentioned that by reading it. Okay, by reading the question or like the map. So the town is here, it's located between the factory and between the port. They're asking, why is the factory there? Or why is it a good location? You're gonna say it's just close to the port and the town. That's it. It's just everything you say, it's written or hidden. The hints are hidden in the question. So you don't have to use your brain too much when you're solving paper 2. That's why it's way easier than paper 1. Because in paper 2, you just have to pay attention, like observe more than you think in paper 2. So it's near the port, near the town, and near the road. The road. I forgot about the road, honestly. But yeah, it's near roads, okay? Next question. The lagoon ecosystem contains biotic and abiotic. Biotic is the living, and non-biotic or abiotic are the non-living, okay? So biotic, like producers, consumers, decomposers, any organism that respires, okay? You're gonna tell me the producers make photosynthesis? Well, yeah, they do, but at night they respire just like us, okay? So in the morning they photosynthesize, making their glucose from carbon dioxide and water using sunlight and their chlorophyll, and they give us oxygen, and they produce glucose, which they use it at night to respire, okay? So this is how you think about biotic, anything that respires. Abiotic is anything that is not living, like the temperature, carbon dioxide, pH, blah, blah, blah. The photograph shows a sea salt that has been extracted from the seawater in lagoon. Suggest 2 environmental impacts. Okay, let's pause here. A lot of students read this question and always they refer to this for people. They're gonna mention things like it's going to relocate people, it's going to blah 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 people. No, we're not talking about people here. We're talking about impacts on the environment. Like, is it gonna cause pollution? Is it gonna cause destruction of habitat? Is it gonna cause loss of biodiversity? What exactly is it gonna cause? Okay, so we're talking and focusing just on the environment. Okay. Something to always mention in these types of question, or the 3-mark question, paper 1, paper 2, whatever, if you have mining or extraction like this one or anything, you are damaging the ecosystem, okay? You are damaging the habitat. And when you always say loss of habitat, you always mention loss of biodiversity. Let me tell you why. When you lose the habitat, when you destruct the habitat, okay, you're destructing their homes, the homes for the animals, okay? So you're ruining their homes, they have nowhere to live, and they will also migrate or die, okay? Causing loss of biodiversity in that particular area that you ruined, okay? So this happens, or this sea salt extraction causes loss of habitat, which causes loss of biodiversity and disruption of food chain, okay? causes pollution. What do I mean by these? Pollution is like noise pollution, sound pollution, noise pollution, visual pollution, air pollution, water pollution. Okay, you're gonna tell me why water pollution? You're going to be extracting. Okay, you're going to be setting rigs there. Okay, you'll be some chemicals from whatever, or the fuel or something, it's gonna fall into the water, causing its pollution. Okay, but why did I write these in only 1 point? Because some questions do count pollution as only just 1 point. Okay, and some like mark schemes count it as different points. Okay, but all the pollutions I treat them at only 1 point, so let's just stick with that. Okay, next question. It's talking about the factory is located in, I'm not gonna embarrass myself and pronounce this one. Anyways, the Biosphere Reserve. Explain how Biosphere Reserve conserve the biodiversity. Let's remember what is Biosphere. Biosphere was a big circle, a small circle, an even smaller one. Okay? Inside you got the core, right? Core, I'm going to focus on the core because the core was the most important part. The core was the part that was only region that was heavily protected, and that region contained the organisms we want to conserve. Okay? This location permits only researchers to go in. This region has very strict rules allowing only researchers to be there to make their research and monitor. Okay, so researchers for research and for monitoring. All right, and then the other part here is that I don't remember it correctly. I think it's the transition or something. It allows people to live there, let's say for education and residency, whatever, residence, okay, and as well as tourism. It also allows research. Okay, in all three biospheres or three locations, like the core and the others, it allows research and education. Okay, but inside the core, it's only research and monitoring. Okay, how does it work? It conserves the habitat. The core, it's restricted. Okay, it's a banned location for humans to just go there, so there is no hunting, nothing, no humans are allowed in there. So no habitat destruction, no loss of biodiversity, no loss of genetic pool. Education is raised. Okay, they raise awareness by educating people, like in the outer areas, such as the transition and the other area next to it or right after it. Ecotourism. What do you mean by ecotourism? It's a way of sustainable tourism. Ecotourism is when tourists go there, get educated, they enjoy the view, but at the same time they get educated, they are fined if they break the laws. They just go enjoy their time without damaging the ecosystem. Okay, laws and definitely limits hunting, like I said. The photograph shows tourists whale watching in the lagoon, and that's ecotourism. Now, the whale watching can be managed as sustainable tourism, aka ecotourism. Describe what is meant by sustainable tourism. It's tourism without harming the ecosystem. So they're enjoying themselves, they're smiling, they're taking pictures, they're enjoying themselves, like this one. Okay, but at the same time, they're not feeding the whales, they're not touching the whales, they're not throwing or littering in the water. Okay, everything is just sustainable and good. Suggest 3 strategies for managing the impacts of whale watching. Limit the number of boats, okay? Limit the amount of people on boats. Like there are only 2 boats that we can see right now. We limit the number, the amount of boats, the visits during the day, the number of tourism. Yeah, we said that, I think. Yeah, the tourism days. Okay, we'll limit them. Like for instance, it's only twice a week or something. It happens only with tourist guides, like this man. He's steering the boat, as you can see. That's the tourist guide. And what else did I write? Yeah, and educate people, that's it. The drawing shows a marine mammal called the porpoise, Vaquita porpoise. Marine mammals need to come to the surface of the water to breathe air. Those whales are only found in the Sea of Cordis. In 2015, a survey estimated that there were 60 whales in the wild. In 2021, there were only 10. So they went from 60 to 10. Calculate the mean decrease per year. They did not ask you for a percentage decrease. Do not write in percentage decrease, okay? Because I had students write in percentage because they systemize the brains that if they ask for a decrease is automatically it's percentage. No, it's not, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna subtract 2021. Let's just get 2021 minus 2015 gives you 6 years. So you're going to find how much they decreased. 60 minus 10, gonna give you 50. Divided the year, because they asked per year, so you're gonna say divided by 6. It's gonna give you 8. It's either 8 or 8 point something, okay? Anyways, they want it in a whole number. So if it comes in decimal or something, you're going to write it as a whole number. Suggest why it is difficult to estimate the population. This is a very good question for organisms that move, okay? And if something moves like insects, like birds, like anything, they will get you this question 100%, okay? 100% they're gonna get this question. Why? Because it confuses students, obviously. How do we solve this? If something is moving in the environment, okay, such as insects, such as birds, fish, okay, anything, you're going to say it's difficult because they miscount. Why? Because you can count the same type of organism or the same bird or the same fish, whatever, the same one more than once, and you're not gonna know it. Okay, they all look the same. They don't know this is the same one or not. So it's very hard to monitor and they're hard to count. Okay, so it can be miscounting. They might be small in size, so you don't know. Okay, like you don't know if you counted this or not. You can't find more than 3, for instance, in this particular area, so they're small in size. Yeah, that's it. Okay, but what are you gonna write if they tell you why is it difficult to monitor for something moving, like an organism moving, an animal, whatever? You're going to say they miscount. They can count the same organism more than once. Okay, suggest 2 reasons why commercial fishing is a threat to porpoises. We can think of this question in 2 ways. Some countries do eat whales, by the way, okay? So they can either eat the whales, they're just farming the whales, or they're farming the fish that the whales feed on. Okay, this question can go both ways. So commercial is cash, CC. Okay, remember it like that. Commercial is for cash. So we are farming to sell it for profit. So they get caught in nets. Any catching will lead to the reduction in food, limiting the habitat, okay, and causing loss of biodiversity, okay? Since we're talking, sorry, the arrow should be like this way. Never mind. Okay, so it will be loss of biodiversity. The graph shows the climate data for Mexico and Baja California. The bars are the precipitation and the lines is the temperature. Again, the bars, precipitation, line is temperature. How do we read this graph? Because a lot are getting confused. We're talking about precipitation now. We're gonna observe this part. We're not gonna start from here. You don't start from December. You start from January. So it's gonna be, your eyes are here. Cancel this one. Eyes here. You're gonna start from here as it goes. So this strength increases and decreases. So we're starting from here. Okay, it increases, this part, and then it decreases. And where did it peak? It peaked here. It peaked in September. Okay? Now let's see the temperature. The temperature is easier. You're going to start from here. Okay, with the line, you're gonna see like it's fluctuating a little bit. Okay, but it just decreased. It slightly decreased. Okay, but overall, it plays in the same region, this region. Okay. Next one. That was about the Mexico. Then we're going to compare to Baja. As you can see, Baja here. We got missing data. okay? This missing data, it's either, I didn't read the question, okay? So it's either there wasn't precipitation during this period, March to May, okay? Or they want you to plot it, okay? Again, how are we going to plot it? You're going to just follow their lead. They said the bars are 1, 2, 3 boxes. They leave 2 small boxes in between the bars. So you're going to do exactly the same thing. 1, 2, and as you can see, there is data here in March, okay? So they plotted 1, 2, 3. Left 2 squares, 1, 2, 3. Leave 2 squares, 1, 2, 3. Okay? They should be equal distances and of the same width. Identify the month in Mexico City with the lowest precipitation. Mexico, so we're looking here. Mexico, we're looking up. Lowest precipitation, we're looking here. December, so it's December. Identify the 4-month period on the Baja with the greatest mean of temperature. Okay, this is the hint, so focus with me. Now we want the highest temperatures, okay? I'm going to find the highest temperature, which is in August. So I'm going to, let's just say here, okay? They asked for a 4 period. I'm gonna take the one before it and after it, okay? This leaves us with 1. You're confused. Do I take the June or do I take the October? Obviously October, okay? But if you're confused, you're gonna see which one is higher. Take a line here. What is that? Take a line here and a line here and see which is higher. This one is higher, so it's gonna be October, okay? So how do we judge? We judge it by the highest value, which was in August, okay? The mean temperature for Mexico is 18. Plot the mean temperature for May on the graph. Mexico, blah, blah, blah. We just did it, I think. Yeah, this one. Okay? Plot it and plot it the same way they did. By a point just as big, okay? Like a P or something. I mean P as P, okay? Not P. It's P. Anyways. And just plot it like that and connect the lines. That's it. Also, if they ask you for a line-to-line graph, you're going to plot it point to point, okay? And this is exactly what point to point is. You're going to get your point and plot it to the other one and plot it to the other one and then the other one, just like this one. Okay. Compare the monthly mean precipitation between both Mexico and Baja. First, when they tell you to compare, you're going to find the both and then differentiate. See, I already wrote it. The both and then difference. Okay, so both, they were wet season. September was the highest precipitation in both. And then when you compare, guys, you're going to say that Baja has less precipitation than Mexico, or Baja has lesser precipitation if you're not gonna mention Mexico, okay? You have to differentiate. You have to put the esser, the er, in it, okay? Or just compare by mentioning the other thing you're comparing against, okay? This question is simple. I'm not gonna waste our time on this one. Next question is showing us a map for the path of the the Colorado River, okay? The international boundary, or the one that's dotted in them, has dots in them, and large city. These are the large cities. And then we got the Colorado River. The river is the main source of fresh water in Baja. In recent years, the river does not supply enough water for the population of Baja. Suggest 3 reasons why the river does not supply enough water for the population. A lot of population, of course. Like, there happened, an increase of population happened. So, of course, when the population increases, the demand increases. These are 2 marks that you should gain very easily, okay? Another thing, you can say that you can say that there is less precipitation due to the change of climate, due to more evaporation. How did I say this? I went back to look at this. Okay? As you can see, the temperature is higher in Baja compared to that in Mexico. But we don't need Mexico right now. So we're just gonna pay attention to Baja. Here we're gonna see that the precipitation is very, very low. Okay, in March and May there was literally no precipitation. Okay, the highest was in September and it wasn't even that high. Okay, so we're gonna say no precipitation or less precipitation, and high temperature, which caused a lot of evaporation to happen, and there is again no precipitation. Okay, and the most obvious answer is also referring to the population. State 2 sources for fresh water other than river. Aquifers, definitely. Wells, rainwater, lakes, reservoirs. Okay, in the October session, they got a fresh water that was trapped underground, or it's ice and that is underground or in a mountain or something like that. Okay, search this one. It's called permafrost. Okay, search this one. You get this. This is the second time I think they got it in the past papers at all. I think this was the second time. Sometimes it's mentioned in the mark scheme and a lot of people ignore it because it's unfamiliar. But know it. You have to know it. Okay, it's called permafrost. Okay, the United States of America government recommends that potable water, aka drinkable, should contain a maximum of 10 mg per decimeter cube of nitrate ions. What is meant by potable? It's the drinkable water that's safe to drink. You're gonna find this paper already sent on WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Circle the formula for nitrate. Nitrate is the one that got the negative sign and the 3 down. Okay, 3 down. Not this one. No, not this one. Not this one. They got no sign. This one is not even nitrate. Okay. State 1 source of the nitrate ions. Easier to say, fertilizer. Okay. Manure as an organic matter, and sewage because they use the sludge from sewage treatment. Complete the sentences about the impacts of excess nitrates before even reading or mentioning eutrophication. Okay. And these are the exact steps we're going to write in the question of eutrophication. So learn this by heart. Okay. Still, they got more details into it and more points we can write, but still, this is the one. Excess nitrate ions in the river cause algal bloom. Algae block sunlight from entering the river. Plants and algae die and the decomposers come. Okay, they decompose these dead organisms. They respire. They use up the oxygen and the water, and the remaining organisms and animals die. This is called eutrophication. The local government of Baja have introduced water rationing to conserve water. Water rationing is where the water supply to home and industry is turned off for a few hours each day to help them conserve. Suggest 2 effects of water rationing on the people of Baja. If they, homes, okay, we're referring here to homes first thing. We are referring to homes here, we're gonna say they don't drink water, no drinking water for these hours, no water for cooking, no water for washing, poor sanitation, because of course we use water when we use the bathroom. Because people won't shower, want to use it in the bathroom when they poop or pee-pee, okay? So, poor sanitation. Now, referring to the industry, you're going to say the industry becomes unproductive because, the industries use it as solvent. Important question, okay? If they ask you what is water needed for in industries, you're going to say first thing first as solvent. That's the most important point. The second most important point is cooling. Okay? So industries use water as a solvent and for cooling. Okay? So it makes the industry unproductive, and so less income because less production. Next question. Human sewage contains feces and water. The diagram shows sources of human sewage in an ocean. Sewage treatment, and then we got the groundwater, and then we got the outdoor sewage, precipitation, domestic sewage. Using the diagram to describe how human sewage enters the water. We're starting off, okay, by a person pooping, and that poop will get washed away by precipitation, and then it will go make its way here, okay? That's the first thing. And as you can see, the groundwater mixes with the ocean. So we're gonna say the sewage treatment, all the waste and everything will be pumped underground, and then it will also make way to the ocean. That's exactly your answer. Describe how human sewage can impact the human health by waterborne diseases. We're gonna mention the typhoid and the cholera. Okay, bacteria in sewage, the contaminated water will cause or contain these bacteria. You don't have the exact name of the bacteria, okay? Like Salmonella typhi, you don't have that. Salmonella typhi causes typhoid, by the way, but you don't have that, okay? So you're just gonna say the disease, which is typhoid and cholera. And you have to know how to treat them. You treat them by better sanitation, by intoxicating people, by boiling water and chlorinating it. You're going to say vaccines and those stuff. Third question in the table shows the population density of 5 countries. Australia, China, Kenya, blah, blah, blah. How to plot a bar chart. First thing, label the axis. Then find your linear scale. How? By finding the lowest, which is 3, and the highest value, which is 150. Then plot the points correctly. If you get a pie chart, you have to plot from big to small. Remember it as BTS. Calculate how many times greater the population density of Mexico compared to Australia. It's 22. It's simple calculation. In 2022, the population of Mexico City was 9.2. The area was 1485. Calculate the population density of Mexico. You're going to remove this million, 2 zeros. It's either you put the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay, and then multiply 1.2 to it, or just write it as I wrote it. 9.2 multiply 10 to the power of 6, which is way easier. Okay, and then you're going to divide it by the total area, which is 1485. Now in this question, we're not going to need the area that's given the second page, okay? This one. We're not going to use this one because they already mentioned the area in the question. Suggest 3 reasons why many cities have a larger population than rural areas. Job opportunities, better healthcare, better education, better infrastructure. Okay. PM 2.5 is an air pollutant produced by the combustion of fossil fuels. As you can see, it increased starting from the morning because that's the time people leave for their work, they use their vehicles for schools, they use their vehicles to burn that fossil fuel. Okay, so it increases during that period and then it lowers again at midnight and at night. The WHO, the World Health Organization, recommends that 24-hour mean concentration should be less than 15 arbitrary units. Use the graph to identify how many hours was greater than 15. You're gonna take a line here at 15, okay? Just here. And you're gonna see it started from 6 a.m. till the 12 midnight. You're gonna count the hours and it's gonna be 18 hours. A study concludes that 24-hour mean concentration of PM 2.5 Mexico City is below 24-hour mean concentration recommended by the WHO. Use evidence from the graph to explain why this conclusion is not correct, because more concentrations are above 15. Suggest 2 reasons for the changes in concentration. What causes the changes in concentration? Vehicles are used more during the day. Cooking, more energy is used for cooking. Fossil fuels, we use it during the day. Industries, work. Anything that uses fossil fuels is a right. You can write anything that uses fossil fuels. Smog regularly forms in city. How do smog form? What is smog? Smog is a mixture of fog and smoke. Okay, it's a mixture between fog and smoke. So how do they form? The VOCs, you can write this abbreviation in the exam, it's correct. Okay, with the presence of light, cause the temperature inversion and traps the pollution closer to the ground level. Describe 3 strategies to reduce the formation of smog. Definitely reduce the fossil fuels, okay? Because we said it's a formation. It's a formation of what? Of fossil fuels, okay? How did we deduce that? From the vehicle emissions. And vehicle do emit gases burned by fossil fuels, right? So we reduce the fossil fuel and then the renewable resources. We use catalytic inverters we use catalytic converters in the vehicles to reduce the harmful gases. Now let me tell you about catalytic converters. We do not remove the harmful gases. No, we just convert the most harmful gases to less harmful gases. Like we convert the carbon monoxide, which is very toxic, okay? We convert it to carbon dioxide, which is less toxic, okay? Or less serious. Encourage carpooling, bicycle use, public transportations, blah, blah, blah. Smog can cause premature death. Smog is a mixture of smoke, okay? Smoke causes respiratory diseases and eye irritation, okay? And you can mention any type of respiratory disease, such as asthma, emphysema, if you know these names. If you don't, just say respiratory diseases, okay? If you don't, just mention lung cancer. I think this is our last question. It's talking about an orchid. The orchid grows on mature trees in the forest in southern Mexico. In 2022, the orchid was classified as endangered, like it will nearly extinct. Why are they endangered? Loss of habitat. Why? Because here in the question it said that orchid grow on mature trees, and we cut the trees for timber, for production, for energy or anything, okay? That's one thing. The other thing could be disease breakout or outbreak of disease, and that caused the death of many orchids. A scientist investigates the population of white orchids area of forest using systematic sampling. Describe how the scientist uses systematic sampling, collecting using a transect, records the data, and obtains. First things first, you have to understand what is systematic sampling. Systematic sampling is when we use measuring tape, okay, and we place the quadrats at equal intervals. Let me introduce to you our equipment. Measuring tape is a tape that looks like a ruler, okay, it's measured. That's measuring tape. Then you got a transect. Transect is a rope-like thing. That's transect. Then you got a quadrat. A quadrat is a frame. Okay, it's literally a frame. Okay, that's a quadrat. Then you can have your compass, GPS compass, east, south, west, and north. Yeah, this is optional, okay? If you forgot it, it's fine. Then you're gonna need the paper, and of course, your pencil, or pen, or whatever, to record the data. So, note, to record the data. And yeah, that should be it. So, you get a field. Let me resize this. Now that we introduced you to your equipment, let's see how are we gonna do it. Okay, I'm going to explain what is written here. Okay, so I will not be repeating it again. Now, let's get another color. Let it be blue. Now you get a field, okay, and you need to test this field. You have to make your investigation. You're going to choose your field, okay? Your field is large, so you're going to use a smaller field or something. Let's say we're going to choose this one. And we're going to enlarge it so you can see what happens inside the field. You're going to place a measuring tape, okay? So this is your empty measuring tape. Based on the measuring tape, you're going to find out the length used across the field, and based on it, you're going to place your transect. So transect is placed here. Now let's remove measuring tape. Okay, this is the transect. Okay, that's the rope and then you're going to place your quadrat. Okay? Is that it? Absolutely not. You're going to use your measuring tape. I said your measuring tape is laid here. Okay? That's the measuring tape. So the measuring tape is here for what? To know the distance between each quadrat. And the distance between each quadrat should be equal. So let's say we're leaving here 2 meters, and then you're going to place your quadrat, and then 2 meters, and then you're going to place the quadrat, and then 2 meters again, and then you're going to place your quadrat. So why do you use the measuring tape? It's to know the distance between the quadrats, okay, and the field, but mainly for the quadrats, so you can set it at equal intervals. Okay, that is systematic sampling. You're going to be placing the quadrats, and the quadrat, I told you it's a frame. You're going to get your organisms here. You're going to observe and record in the notebook, this one, okay, in the notebook, the amount or the number of species you're calculating or investigating for, and then calculate everything and find an average by repeating that investigation several times in the same field and several times in different fields and during different times of the year. Okay? And then calculate and find the average. That's it. Next question is talking about 2 limitations of sampling white non-orchids in forest using transect. It's time consuming, of course, and the area is too large to sample it systematically, okay? Because you'll be placing the quadrats literally at every 2 meters, okay? Oh, I forgot to mention something. To get another extra mark, you can say the size of the quadrat, okay, you're using, because the quadrats, I told you, they are frames, so they got sizes. It could be meter into 1 meter, or it could be 2 into 2, okay, or it could be 3 into 3. So just mention this part and you will get a mark. Okay, the next question is talking about seeds from the white non-orchid have been stored in seed banks. Why they're stored in seed banks? Of course, to conserve the biodiversity. It's like a place that stores all the seeds, okay? They're stored in like Antarctica and these kind of regions, the cold freezing regions, to keep the seeds dormant, like to keep the seeds sleeping for a long time, okay? Because you know, any humidity will cause the seed to germinate. To conserve genetic diversity, biodiversity and genetic pool, and it also allows them to be reintroduced in their lost wild or in their lost habitats after a time. State 3 limitations of the seed banks. Limited number of seeds, you cannot store all of them. They can't store all the species, okay? It is very expensive, by the way, because I told you have to construct that storage in somewhere that's icy, somewhere that's very, very cold, so it's very expensive. And they're not sure about the seed viability. What do we mean by viability? We mean that you don't know if the seed will germinate or not. Some seeds cannot germinate because they're dead, okay? They cannot germinate. That's exactly what we mean by viability. So you don't know it's viable or not. And that marks the end of our session. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope I made it clear. I do not remember if I did upload this paper on my YouTube or not, but if I did, then I hope I explained it in a clear, better way. And if I didn't, then here you go. If you have a specific paper that you want me to solve or it's harder for you, you can either send me the question on WhatsApp and I will answer immediately. And if I did not, my assistants will reach out. And if the paper was really difficult, you can send it to me and I will solve it and make a video for you. Anyways, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed, and study hard, study well. And if you need me, I am always available. Thank you all for watching, and please subscribe and like the video for more, and share this video with your friends. Love you. Bye.